Only 30 minutes before the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinal between Real Madrid and Arsenal kicked off, the cameras captured a simple but striking moment featuring Myles Lewis-Skelly, the young Arsenal prodigy. Amid the suffocating electric atmosphere of the Santiago Bernabeu, a place that has shaken the nerves of countless superstars, the 18-year-old calmly chatted with family over the phone, flashing an innocent smile, completely unfazed by the sea of roaring fans. When the whistle blew, Myles Lewis-Skelly showed exactly why he deserved his place on the grandest stage of them all. Against the seasoned legs of Los Blancos, Lewis-Skelly played with astonishing confidence, locking down both the midfield and the right flank, leaving a star like Rodrigo Goes nearly invisible. He played so brilliantly that veteran center-back Antonio Rudiger resorted to dirty tricks just to contain his explosive presence. Lewis-Skelly was not the only one shining. Bukayo Saka, his older countryman, left the Bernabeu frozen in silence. With a delicate chip, he turned Thibaut Courtois, the best goalkeeper in the world, into a helpless spectator. Saka's extraordinary runs carried Arsenal proudly into the Final Four of Europe. The white shirts of Madrid may strike fear into me. Today, Saka is widely recognized as one of the finest wingers in Europe. Just last night, the player born in 2001 controlled the emotions of 80,000 Madridistas with his dazzling performance, driving Mikel Arteta's men to the doorstep of Champions League history. Meanwhile, Lewis-Skelly, England's latest prodigy, had once been praised by Thomas Tuchel as the future of English football, despite only just turning 18 and not even playing in his preferred position. Yet against Real Madrid, he completely nullified Rodrigo for the entire 90 minutes. Even Nwaneri, who has yet to reach the heights of the other two, is starting to show promising signs. With his signature body feint followed by a sharp curler, Nwaneri promises to help Arsenal conquer heights they have never reached before. And these are just a few gems from the famous Arsenal Academy, which has produced a golden generation featuring Jack Wilshere, Emile Smith-Rowe, Serge Gnabry, Tony Adams, Wojciech Szczesny, and Liam Brady. Each of them once helped pen glorious chapters in Arsenal's rich history, all nurtured at Hale End. Since the historic move from the beloved Highbury to Emirates Stadium in 2006, Arsenal endured years of financial struggle. Before they could splash out on blockbusters like Declan Rice for $105 million, Kai Havertz for $60 million, Ben White for $50 million, or Thomas Partey for $45 million, they survived on faith and homegrown hope. There was a time when Arsenal became the punchline in the press. Back then, the board handed Arsene Wenger a measly £50 million for the entire transfer window. Yet despite the stinginess, the Gunners stood tall among England's and Europe's elite. Much of the credit went to the professor, Wenger, who turned Arsenal into a winning machine built on beautiful football, all without a single world-class superstar. While rivals splurged on signings, Wenger chose to craft his own stars, and Hale End was the answer, producing bright talents year after year to fuel the first team's journey. Arsenal does not buy superstars, we make them. Wenger's iconic statement is now etched into the Gunners' legacy. Unlike other European academies, Hale End never rushed to hoard talents en masse. Arsenal focused on nurturing pure footballing skills from the under-9s to the under-16s, then meticulously selected those truly ready for the under-18s, the under-21s, and beyond. The London Colney training ground is not just the home of the senior team, the youth squads, and the women's side. It is the beating heart where Arsenal's footballing values are passed down from generation to generation. We set very high standards right from the selection stage. Every player wanting to join Hale End must possess natural qualities that align with the Arsenal philosophy. Our job is to develop them into the best version of themselves, with the ultimate goal being the first team, said Per Mertesacker, the director of Hale End Academy, in an interview with ESPN in the year 2023. It was not just Per who viewed Hale End as a second home. A young player speaking anonymously to The Athletic shared, "At Hale End we feel loved, we are given opportunities, and above all, we are trusted. It is not just a place to develop footballers, but to nurture human beings." Here the boundaries between under-9s, under-10s, under-11s, or even under-16s are almost blurred. The system operates with tight cohesion. where the under-9 coach knows the standards of the under-21s, and the under-21 coach is well aware of the potential brewing in the under-9s. Everyone moves together with one shared goal: to develop the next generation of gunners. That connection does not stop at Hale End or London Colney, it extends all the way to the first team. Dan Micciche, the under-16 coach, could easily knock on Mikel Arteta's door to propose a rising star. It was Micciche who convinced Arteta to give Myles Lewis-Skelly, the prodigy born in 2007, his big break. Mikel once asked me, "Bring me a true talent," and when I watched Myles at just 14 years old, I was sure this would be the youngest player to wear the Arsenal first-team shirt. Micciche recalled to Football London in September 2024. And as we have seen, Arteta placed his trust in Micciche just as Arsene Wenger once fearlessly opened the doors to young players. Over the years, that spirit has lived on at Emirates, a place where football dreams are nurtured every single day. Arsenal may buy Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, or Ben White, but Hale End, the birthplace of Jack Wilshere, Bukayo Saka, and Emile Smith-Rowe, remains the true heart that keeps the Arsenal soul alive. I still vividly remember a conversation back then about Alex Iwobi. "I like him," the coach said, "and if I had to sign a young midfielder now, I would pick him." Not long after, Iwobi was given his first-team debut before eventually moving to Everton for £40 million. At every club, it is normal for academy graduates to leave if they cannot secure a first-team spot. But Wenger always treated young players with incredible kindness. A former member of Arsenal's coaching staff from 2012 to 2018 openly shared this on The Athletic. While some young talents thrived after breaking into the first team, many others were swallowed up by the brutal, physical nature of English football. Today, faces like Chido Obi-Martin and especially Myles Lewis-Skelly are proof of Arsenal's efforts to ensure that Hale End gems do not burn out too early. Des Ryan, the head of sports science and athletic development, a role that did not even exist at Hale End before 2013, has played a huge part in making Arsenal's young talents tougher and more resilient. Ryan knows well that modern football demands relentless preparation. Without it, the gap between the academy and the first team would only widen. That is why, under the direct supervision of Per Mertesacker, the Strong Young Gunners project was launched, aiming not only to refine tactical skills, but to toughen up players physically from a young age. There is no shortage of academies hanging slogans on their walls, but at Hale End, we turn them into reality, Ryan proudly said. When the Premier League introduced the Elite Player Performance Plan in 2012, Arsenal seized the opportunity to upgrade their academy system. Players like Saka, Charlie Patino, Eddie Nketiah, and Reuel Walters are perfect examples: strong, fast, resilient, and crucially fully aware of how to protect their body. The results are clear. Since debuting for the first team in 2018, Bukayo Saka has made 267 appearances for Arsenal and England, an extraordinary number for a player under the age of 23. For those players who are still on the verge of breaking through, Hale End has prepared specific programs to maintain their form and keep their football senses sharp. Constant communication between the youth coaching staff and the first team ensures that every player remains ready to step in when needed. Even if they are not training daily with the senior squad, they have individual recovery plans and tailored training schedules, all based on modern sports science. However, once these young talents start to shine, Arsenal faces another challenge: dealing with the pressures from agents, contracts, sponsorships, and outside temptations. But Arsenal has never been naive in protecting their most precious assets. Saka and Smith-Rowe, for example, underwent courses on handling media relations early in their careers. The club, together with their representatives, meticulously monitors their social media activities to prevent youthful posts from becoming scandals exploited by the media. From Hale End, Arsenal has produced gems like Wilshere, Saka, and Smith-Rowe, players who have defined the fate of the club, and it would not be a surprise if, in the future, North London witnesses the rise of the next generation's second or even third versions of Saka, Chido Obi-Martin, and Myles Lewis-Skelly.